the fact that the band allows for two Americans in it now just is an indication that that either you've changed or what you're going for musically has changed, isn't it? I mean,
I think the fact we ended up with Americans is just coincidental. I mean, we could have ended up with, you know, Dutch, really. It was just that they were the best two musicians that we could find in the world that we knew for the jobs. You know, I mean, frankly, I don't think there is a better guitarist than Warren in the world right now. He can play anything, any rock and roll things, and he's more modern than any other guitarist in any band I know of. And Sterling, for a drummer, you know, the ideas he has are fantastic. He's just so forward-thinking, and he takes rhythm in different directions. He'll take something from an African thing and mix it with a sort of house beat, or take a very simple rock beat and just somehow turn it around. And he's, you know, he's the perfect drummer for us. So really, we feel very happy at the moment with the lineup. It is the ultimate Duran Duran lineup. I don't think we could improve on it if we tried.
As you look back, or you probably don't do it that often, but on that, what they might call the heyday, you know, the teen idoldom, the smash hits period of Duran Duran. I mean, do you feel differently do you regard it differently now than you did then? I mean, is it, or is it something you're completely comfortable with having gone through?
I don't regret anything we've ever done, because, you know, I'm sure we've made mistakes and other things you learn from. But I feel when you do something at the time, you obviously feel it's right, or you wouldn't do it. And, you know, the crazy kind of period we went through in 83 and 84 here, it was a lot of fun, that tour. It's not something that I think anybody ever sustains when you've got a lot of young kids coming to see you and you're new, which here we were at the time, although we'd already been through it in half the rest of the world. It's funny because a lot of those people have stuck with us now. Obviously they're a lot older, and it's good.
Were there ever, I mean, are there anything specific that makes you think back on, well, you know, you sort of wince that you
cannot abide that record. It was fun when I heard it the first time. I thought, oh yeah, how clever, he stole the Rick James thing, but then...
Did you give him the money for that?
Yeah, but I mean, still, it's like, self lazy. You know, really. I mean, 6 million albums for going, can't touch this. I mean, really. It reminds me like one of those dumb comedians that has a catchphrase, you know? We suffer from that in England a lot, these like really stupid guys that just say 4 words, you know. And everyone like rolls around laughing. Makes me want to throw up.
Well, this, you know, I don't get no respect, Rodney Dangerfield here. He's the same way, you know.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Wrong tape, Johnny.
Yeah, but as far as talking about that period of, you know, the whole teen idol thing, it's not something that you don't have, as you say, you don't have any regrets about having gone through that.
Je ne regrette rien. I think that whole time was good fun for us, you know, in the mid-80s, and it's a period that I think we also created some great records and moved on to other things now. As I said, I'm really glad that a lot of people stuck with us through it. I mean, of course, we lost some people that kind of got married and bought fridges, but, you know, maybe they'll come back.
So whatever appeal the adulation on that level had then isn't something that you particularly, you don't long for particularly anymore? You just the screaming kind of hysteria?
Oh, no, I don't miss that. I must say, you know, it's fun while it happens. I mean, there's something great about having teenage fans. That is where most great music has sort of started in the past. The Rolling Stones and the Beatles and all those bands. The kids are the first people to pick up on something, you know. They're the ones that are going out to the clubs, and they're the ones that are the first down at the record store and finding out what's new, and they're the ones that listen to the radio, and so I'm glad that it started in that way for us. And then, you know, they get into other things, and you get into other things yourself. I mean, it just changes.
Any thoughts on, or maybe I should say advice to this country's current teen raves, who we were talking about earlier, new kids?
Please don't make any more records. It's a bit unfair. I'm not one to preach and give advice to people. I mean,
do you see that
I think you know, the things like the New Kids on the Block thing that's happening here, it's like a real clever business move on somebody's behalf, isn't it? I mean, I don't really see that it has an awful lot to do with music. I mean, it's something that's kind of been manufactured and put together, right? It's not, they don't write their own stuff, and yeah, I mean, that's a different kind of thing. I mean, good for them. I mean, it's great.
Is there any common ground in terms of, you know, if any of these guys want to go on or do anything else that you could comment on, as far as, you know, that the idea of perpetuating a career beyond that kind of team-based success?
Well, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because, I mean, they don't do their own things. I think their manager must be a real clever guy, though, you know. I think he'll do real well. I don't think he needs any advice from me.
Great. One thing that they definitely changed within Duran over the years was style and aesthetics, and perhaps no one member more than yourself, you know, aesthetically. I'm just curious as to what it was it just something to do different that you would change, you know, whether it be hair, look, dress, clothes, whatever?
No, I think style's always been incredibly important to Duran Duran. We were one of the first style bands, and I'm very pleased about that. I like aesthetics. I can appreciate you know, nice paintings or nice rooms or nice buildings, and I think it's something that affects people a lot, more subconsciously, I suppose, than they think. Your surroundings do affect the way people behave. The way people look is obviously what they want to present to people. Fashion is an incredibly important part of youth culture. I think it shapes a lot of attitudes, the way things are going to be. Again, it always starts with the kids and, you know, works its way up to Vogue. And I also think it's always been a great part of rock and roll style, right from early on, you know. I mean, I love seeing old films of Elvis when he really looked great early on. He had those fabulous suits and great haircut. I mean, you know, it's good. It's imagery, and we've been slagged for it all the time. I don't care. All those people, you know, they pretend not to care about style. Everybody cares about style, even if they care whether they're buying Levi's or Wranglers, you know.
Right. It's a statement in itself.
Duran Duran will always be a band that wants to be on the cutting edge of what's going on, and forward of that. And that means videos, and that means still photography. It means recording techniques. It means songwriting and arrangement. I'm not interested in things of the past, really. I'm much more interested in the future. And, you know, it just looks a little tired to me when I see all these other bands and people that they all look the same. I like individuality. I like people to have an identity of their own.
I'm just curious, when you would change your own personal style over the years, did it have to do with the project you were involved in at the time? I mean, for instance, did you get involved with Arcadia and say, okay, I'm going to go black, you know, so in terms of hair, look, you know, makeup, dress?
I always follow my gut instinct about things. I mean,
it didn't. So it's not. I mean, was that separate from the album?
Yeah, you mean a conscious decision when we did Arcadia to